Welcome back, Pokemon trainers. Professor Chaz here, and the lab coat is on back order. Now, a few things I'm going to go over for this week's video. First and foremost being, I have a couple more random booster packs to open. We have the X and Y base set here. I'm still trying to collect a full set of cards from this set, and jumping ahead a little bit, we got a Roaring Skies booster pack. Let's open these and see what we get first of all. So going in chronological order of set release, let's start with the X and Y pack. Now what I'm going to do this week to sort of quicken the pace and minimize the sound of crinkly wrapping on the camera here, I'm just going to cut the top off the pack. I'm going to tear a little bit, and easy access to the cards. So starting with the commons being Pumpkaboo, Bunnelby, Doduo, and the Scatterbug, and we got the shadow all over the cards, I'm sorry about that, Swirlix. Next up is Professor Sycamore, Super Potion, Quilladin, which I don't think I have a lot of these guys yet. The reverse foil card shall be Corsola, that's nice and fancy looking. And the rare of the pack is Beedrill. Now, I like this one here because it's good grass type here. Poison Jab for 20, and automatically poisons the opponent, no coin flip. Then Flash Needle, flip 3 coins, this does 40 damage times the number of heads. And if all of them are heads, prevent all effects of attacks, including damage, done to this Pokemon during your opponent's next turn. Pretty slim odds you're going to get all the heads, but if you do get them, Beedrill could be immortal. At least for one turn. So now we're opening up the Roaring Skies pack. Code card out of the way. Alright, so these are the newer set of cards. Let's see what we get here. Inkay. Now, I don't know if I mentioned this before, but Inkay and Meowth have an interesting little story going on with their cards. If I get the Meowth, I'll show you it, but basically the Meowth card has Meowth holding a berry, and I think it's the Lepa berry, and Inkay is hiding in the background. Here we see, Meowth with a big ink spot all over its face. I don't know if we can zoom in and see it or not. And Inkay is using its first attack, Rip Off, to just take Meowth's little berry and, rip it off of him. So that's kind of funny. And let's refocus the camera. We have Dratini and Halucha. Cascoon. There's the Meowth. There, see, he starts with the berry and Inkay hiding right here in the background. It's weird when cards have like a little story like that. Alright, and we get a Silcoon, which I don't think I have one of these yet. Rayquaza Spirit Link. Now all I need is the Rayquazas. Got Altaria. Reverse foil card is, reverse foil Wally. That's going right in the deck, I'll tell you. And the rare of the pack is a Carbink with Jewel Armor ability. As long as this Pokemon is on your bench, prevent all damage done to this Pokemon by attacks, both yours and your opponent's. And Spin Tackle for 1 Fairy, 2 Colorless, 60 damage. Flip a coin. If tails, this Pokemon does 20 damage to itself. You can always give it the Protection Cube from Flash Fire, though, to keep it from doing that. And down goes Carbink. Alright, those are the packs. Next, I'd like to just mention that Professor Chaz has now joined the world of Twitter. I know I'm like years behind, but I finally decided I'm going to set up a Twitter account. So I'm going to put a link in the description down below. If you want to follow me on there, feel free. I'm going to be tweeting probably like, a couple times a day, just mentioning Pokemon related stuff and maybe retweeting some things about like the new cards coming out. So, yep, just follow that link down below, follow me if you like, and I'll see you on Twitter. Now, what I think I'm going to try to do for next week is I want to start having more videos on the channel. Like one a week is good, but I want to sort of have more of like a regular kind of a thing. Currently, every weekly video is kind of a little bit different from the last one. That being said, this one's going to be sort of a repeat from last week. But anyway, what I want to start doing is having once a week, we'll do like a recording of a video game match online. Once a week, I'd like to have an online card match. And then for my regular Tuesday video, I want to have something more unique. So like with Ancient Origins coming out in just under a month now, actually, I want to start doing some analysis of the new cards that are coming out for that expansion set. So I'll probably start doing stuff like that for like the Tuesday video. I haven't decided on a schedule for the other videos yet, but once a week on a different day we're going to try doing a video game match and then a card game match on another day of the week. So look forward to that starting next week. And for this week what we're going to do is another Pokemon TCG Online live match. Now I'm going to show off the deck that I made in the deck building video I put up a while ago, my Swampert Slurpuff deck. I've made some tweaks to it since the video that I put up about deck building, and I'm going to talk you through the changes to the deck, give you sort of a recap on how the deck's supposed to work, and I'll show you a match, maybe two depending on how fast they go. Alright, let's get started. So let's take a look at what I like to call the depth charge deck. I'm not sure why I called it that. Maybe because that was one of the cooler Maximals back in the day. But anyways, so we're going to take a look at the entire card set. So as you might remember from the deck building video that I recorded a while back, this deck focuses mainly on two particular Pokemon, those being Swampert with the Ancient trait, and Slurpuff with a pretty good ability. So I'm going to go talk you through them all here. We're going to have 3 Mudkips in the deck. They all have the same attacks here. We go with 2 Marshtomp, and we got 2 Swampert. Now this one here with the Ancient trait Alpha Growth says when you attach an energy card from hand to this Pokemon, you may attach a second energy to it as well. Now he's mainly in here for the ability here, Diving Search. It says once during your turn before your attack, you may search your deck for a card, shuffle your deck, then put that card on top. So in essence, you're going to be choosing a card that you're going to draw at the top of your deck next turn. And the attack is pretty brutal as well. For 3 colorless energy, Hydro Pump does 40, plus 30 more damage for each water energy attached to this Pokemon. If you just put the 3 water energy on this Pokemon to power up Hydro Pump, you're already doing 130 damage, which is pretty impressive. Now I also, in the original deck building video, I put a Wailord-EX in. I have taken it out mainly because it wasn't that playable, and also I like to try to focus making decks that do not have to require EXs in order to win. So I replaced it with the other Swampert from the same set, Primal Clash. It's pretty good. It's got a Water Arrow attack for 1 water, 2 colorless. This attack does 60 damage to one of your opponent's Pokemon, so you can target one of the bench Pokemon as well with this. Waterfall for 2 water, 2 colorless does a nice decent 120. Almost as much as the Hydro Pump will. Now we have 2 Swirlix in the deck. I just decided to go with one from the base set, X and Y, and then one from Phantom Forces. And the main guy here will be Slurpuff. The ability Tasting lets you draw, so once during your turn, you may draw a card. And if this Pokemon is your active Pokemon, you may draw 1 more card. Now, this ability combines with Swampert's ability that lets you choose a card to put on top, and then if you use Tasting, you're going to draw that card. Essentially, you're getting to choose any card of your deck you want to draw every single turn. And then Light Pulse for 1 fairy, 2 colorless does 60, and prevent all effects of your opponent's attacks except damage done to this Pokemon during your opponent's next turn. Slurpuff isn't really here for the battle purposes, it's there just for the tasting. Now in the original video, I did mention that I have the Goodra line, so we got 3 Goomies. We have 2 of its evolution Sliggoo, and 1 Goodra. Primarily Goodra and its pre-evolutions are in here just to sort of stall the opponent out while I power up Swampert on the bench, because Swampert is the main attacker in this deck. But the ability Gooey Regeneration says as often as you like during your turn, you may discard an energy attached to this Pokemon. If you do, heal 60 damage from it. So that's a good way to keep it in play while you're powering up someone on the bench. And Heavy Whip for a water, a fairy, and a colorless does 80, plus flip a coin, if heads, 40 more damage. So even the pre-evolutions have attacks that can heal themselves, like Gooey heals 30 from Sliggoo, and then Gooey also heals 10 from Goomy. The only other Pokemon in the deck, to round out the 18 that I have in here, is Bouffalant. And the original reason for putting Bouffalant in is because with Swampert being the main attacker and it's weak to grass, this Bouffalant's ability, Sap Sipper, says its attacks do 40 more damage to your opponent's grass Pokemon before weakness and resistance. So, if there is a grass type that we have to fear from Swampert here, Bouffalant is going to be doing 120 thanks to the ability, and the attack Derail for 3 colorless normally does 80, plus 40 if the opponent is grass, and discard a special energy attached to your opponent's active Pokemon. So if they're running special energies, Bouffalant is the way to go. And most of my decks, as I mentioned, work primarily on the trainer cards, which I have 26 of them in this deck. I have one dive ball, and I was lucky enough to get the gold rim dive ball online here. We have an energy retrieval. We're running an energy switch. And I just gotta close the window to see how many I have of each card in this. I kind of forget. We have one escape rope, one Evo soda, two great balls to help us find our Pokemon, two Professor's letters to draw two basic energy from the deck and put it in your hand. Now I do have a repeat ball in here. The reason is I try to make online decks regarding, dealing with whatever cards I have in the actual collection. So I only have one dive ball right now. I've never been fortunate enough to draw another one just yet. So repeat ball is here in case I have Marshtomp in play and I need another one. I can use repeat ball to look for a Pokemon that I already have in play. So as soon as I do get another dive ball, I'm going to update this online deck and replace this with the dive ball. We have a Startling Megaphone to discard the opponent's tools, a switch card in case I want to get one of my guys out of there quickly, Trainer's Mail, which originally came in one of the theme decks from Roaring Skies, and I questioned why is it in a theme deck that has only 13 trainers, including itself. But it is useful if you're going to run trainer cards in your deck. You get to look at the top 4 cards of your deck, reveal a trainer card you find there, except for Trainer's Mail, and put it in your hand, and then shuffle the other cards back in. We're running one Ultra Ball, 2 of our Pokemon Center Ladies for healing purposes, 2 Pokemon Fan Clubs to get some of our basics, and Steven is here to help us find a different supporter as well as a basic energy. And as I mentioned in last week's video, Teammates is always a useful card. If you lose a Pokemon on the previous turn, you get to play this and look for any 2 cards from your deck that you want. We got a couple Tierno for drawing some extra cards. We got one Wally, which is like Evo Soda, but you can use it on the turn your Pokemon comes into play. And we got a Zero-Sick to discard a Pokemon tool or special energy card in play, either yours or your opponent's. And the final trainer cards are 2 Rough Seas to try and keep my Swampert healed up. Now that there's only one, or I guess 2 main water Pokemon in the deck, both different Swampert, I might want to switch these for like something else, because this was sort of to keep Wailord-EX alive as well. But I might keep them. Swampert is kind of crucial to the deck. And for special energy, we have 1 double colorless, 3 fairy energy, 11 water energy to power up that hydro pump, and 1 of the double dragon energy. Again, Goodra's not really there to fight, but if I do get it into the battle, double dragon energy will help it fight a little bit better. Alright, so that was a basic rundown of the deck. The main strategy is get Swampert with the ancient trait into play as soon as possible. Then that's going to help you select what cards you're going to be getting from the following turns. So once Swampert's in play, find that Slurpuff, get it into play, then you can draw anything you want every turn. Alright, let's get into a match and see how well it works. My opponent is... if you guys want to pronounce that, feel free. Fajita Friolito. That's the best I'm going to get. So await the coin flip to see which of us takes the first turn. See, my opponent is rocking out the dragon sleeves and the dragon coin here from the online challenges. And the coin flip comes up tails, meaning they get to choose. So they're taking the first turn, which means we get to attack first, although with a 3 energy attack cost, we're not really going to get to attack that well. So I wonder if this is a dragon-themed deck, or if he's just using the sleeves and the coin because of the design of them. I suppose only time will tell. I find the dragon challenges have been difficult, but they've gotten a lot easier now that the Roaring Sky set have come out, including dragon types in the theme decks. So let's use a Tierno first of all. No more basic Pokemon, so just to make sure we don't get knocked out... No, I was going to play the Dive Ball to get a Mudkip into play. I'm going to wait, because this is going to take at least 2 more turns to power up this attack. So we might see a Mega Charizard-EX on the opponent's side here. Okay, we do have a Goomy. Bouffalant is likely to go down because Dragonite has Jet Sonic, which can do 120 if you discard an energy from it. So let's use an energy on Goomy and end the turn there. If the opponent does want to, they can knock out Bouffalant in one hit here, but it's going to slow them down a little bit because they have to get rid of an energy to do so. However, no energy was played. Let's play another Bouffalant. And let's just start powering Bouffalant up, why not? They just need one more grass to be able to defeat Bouffalant here, though. The trouble with Dragon types sometimes is if you don't have, like if you have too many energies to power them up, you run the risk of not being able to draw the proper energy cards when you need them. Alright, we have a Shaymin-EX on the bench to draw 6 cards using the ability when you play it. Now we're taking poison damage. We do have 2 Pokemon Center ladies. I don't think I'm going to use it just yet. Actually, no, I will, because if I don't, and if they get grass energy, they will knock out Bouffalant. So let's use the non-full art. I want to save this one for a surprise attack. Alright, let's just use our derail for 80, get some damage off on that Dragonite-EX. Two more hits and Bouffalant can take that EX down. But they just need one more grass energy and Bouffalant itself will be taken out. And we see they discarded their Mega Charizard-EX to use the Ultra Ball. I wonder if they're putting all their faith into the, well, there's Hydreigon-EX. Ooh. With a stadium in play, Hydreigon-EX reduces retreat cost of each Dragon Pokemon by 2 colorless. So let's not play that Rough Seas just yet. I'm going to power up the other Bouffalant here. 80 more damage off on Dragonite. 20 remaining. Which means Goomy could knock it out. So I think I might have mentioned it last week, but this is the difficult part of trying to make a deck that doesn't use any EXs. Almost every time you fight online, you're going to fight EX Pokemon. So we do have Mudkip here finally. We're not going to power him up just yet. In fact, no, actually we will start powering up Mudkip here. Derail will take out the Dragonite-EX. I gain 2 prizes off of this. Have a Fan Club. And Sliggoo. Alright, now Shaymin, with a double colorless, can simply return back to the hand. It's too bad it's not grass type as opposed to colorless, because Bouffalant could take it out right away. So now we see Hydreigon is powered up completely. So first of all, we're going to evolve that Sliggoo. Do a Fan Club and get another Mudkip and Swirlix. All we need to do is get either Marsh Stomp or Slurpuff into play, and we have a chance to start doing our strategy here. So off the top, we're going to go for Derail for 80 on the Shaymin. I suppose one of the upsides to fighting an EX deck, though, is you're only going to knock 3 of them out to gain all of your prizes. That's another good reason not to run EXs, because your opponent can win quicker than usual. Now you can retreat, which I'm going to do. So 80 damage is going to come from Hydreigon here. And let's use that full art Pokemon Center lady. Heal up Bouffalant. Do a Derail for 80 more damage. Not quite enough to knock it out just yet. One more hit will bring it down to 20 HP. Alright, so Tierno is in hand. Double colorless. We're going to save that to use on the other Bouffalon if need be. But right off the bat, let's give another water energy to Mudkip here. And let's use the Ultra Ball. Get rid of a Goomy and a Rough Seas. And let's find Marsh Stomp somewhere here. There we go. Gonna evolve our Mudkip that's powered up. We're one step away from getting Swampert into play here. So derail for another 80. This Hydreigon isn't looking too good. So our first Bouffalon has been down. And my opponent carefully selects the prize card. Alright, so my other Bouffalon takes the field. Unfortunately, the double colorless allows me to power it up immediately. Let's use the dive ball and find that ever important Swampert. Evolution time. And we're immediately going to use that ability, Diving Search, to find that we won the game. Alright, so another victory before actually taking all the prizes. I seem to have a little streak of that going on. We gain another tournament ticket, another coin, and we're done. So I think in the end there, my opponent understood the sheer force of what they were up against. As soon as that Swampert came into play, I was going to have pretty good control over the game, especially since Hydreigon-EX was about to be knocked out in a single hit. So that is the power of Swampert and Slurpuff. Again, we're not using EXs, but still held their own and actually won against an EX deck. So that's the other main deck that I have put together online and in the actual card game. There's a couple other decks I've sort of played around with online. I can probably show those off in future videos. But if any of you have requests for particular cards you want to see used in the online game, just leave a comment down below. Let me know what you want to see in these matches, and I'll see what I can do. I can try to make a deck around whichever cards you're interested in. Alright, and again, leave a comment below for that, or if you want to let me know what you thought of the match, if you think there are some suggestions you have to make my deck better. Like I said, I'm going to consider putting Lysandre in here, just to be able to have a little more control over the field. And if you have any other suggestions, let me know what they are, and in the end, thanks for watching the video, and starting next week, look for probably 3 videos a week of Pokemon content. Alright, I'll catch you next time.